How's it going, Dave from Comic Book Investments? So in this video, we're going to look at 5 keys that are dropping in price, and one of them is my book. Oh, yeah, I did a video on it before, so if you've seen it, you kind of know what it is. But yes, the sadness. But anyways, I got to tell it is the news of dropping in price news. Anyways, before I get in the video, if you want to consign any of your comic books over at collectorscomics.com, that is my website, we have a featured auction coming up, and the deadline is in about 3-4 weeks from now. So if you want to consign anything, we are only 5%. Also, we have a cap on our fees. Most places do not do this. So basically, if you send us something that goes over 10 grand, our fee is capped. So we're 5%. So at a $10,000 book, that's $500. So even if the book sells for 20 grand, 30 grand, 100 grand, whatever it is, it's still only $500. So, I mean, really can't beat that deal. We're also the cheapest in the land. So, yeah. And we do all the work. All you got to do is fill out the little form and send it to us. So head over to collectorscomics.com if you want to consign now. We also do weekly auctions as well if you want a faster turnaround time, but our featured auction is coming up very soon. So, yeah, consign to that. All right. First up is Teen Titans number 12. First appearance of the Batman Who Laughs. A 9.8 recently sold for $265. In January, it was selling $275, so not that bad, down 4%. And then all of 2023, it was averaging $325, so down 18%. But at its peak, it sold for $905, down 71%, and that was in 2021. I'm looking at this book. Now, The Batman Who Laughs was very, very popular. It had a very good, just got more and more popular, but then it started kind of fading away. It was probably a good 2-year stint where he was pretty popular, and then it just kind of, I don't know, just not as popular anymore. The storylines have run its course. People have moved on to other things, and it's not an original character, so to speak. Right? It's not like a brand new character like David Mann. Now, that would be a brand new character. If you got the first appearance of David Mann, probably worth $2-4 million, something like that. Minimum. That's for a 0.5. Coverless. Incomplete. They're all incomplete. But anyways, yeah, so if I'm looking at this graph, it's just been trending down, right? It's just been little peaks and valleys, but going down. So my best guess is this will continue to trend down as... Now, I think they might be doing some animation of Batman Who Laughs, possibly, but I could be wrong. That would be very interesting to see. But I would expect this to continue trending down. All right. Next, we've got Star Wars Clone Wars number 1. A 9.8, originally sold for $810. In January, it sold for $224, down 34%. And all 2023 is averaging about $1,750, down 54%. And that's peak of selling for almost $4,000, down 80%. Yeah. So this is the first appearance of, now I'm blanking on her name, played by Rosario Dawson. Yes, that's her name. I did not watch the show, clearly. There's a Star Wars character. What is her name? Now people are going to be yelling at me in the comments. Kind of like that Tina Fey and Nancy Cartwright or whatever the hell. I forget. Anyways, Nancy Cartwright, that's the voice of Bart Simpson. That wasn't the one who hit that girl in the legs, the ice skiing thing. Now I forget. Tanya Harding. There it is. Who apparently, my brother said, lived down the road from us when I was younger. He's like, how could you forget her name? Because you watch my video, how could you forget her name? She lived down the street from us. And I was like, she did? Whatever. I mean, I was a kid then. It's not like I paid attention to the news or what was going on or even ice skating. But nonetheless, whatever the show was called, I can't even remember now, was not well received. I do not think it's getting a season 2, as far as I remember and reading. Pretty much anything Star Wars related is not getting to season 2. I can't, other than The Mandalorian, which pretty much ended at season 3, but they are doing a movie. Has anything gotten a season 2 other than The Mandalorian? So wait, Obi-Wan, now we got one season. We had The Acolyte, that already got canceled. or sorry, not season number 2. I love how they always come out. Oh, it's so great. We're gonna get it's got green lit for season 2, and season 1 hasn't even come out yet. And then season 1 comes out. Oh, well, I guess we're canceling our plans. What else have they come out with? Book of Boba Fett. That is only 1 season. I'm sure they come out with other stuff, but I literally don't know. I don't have Disney Plus anymore. But in any case, not getting season 2. All the stuff they come out with, that just shows you that it's not very good if you can't even get a season 2. Mandalorian was the only thing like a season 2, and now it's getting its own movie. I don't even know if they're doing a season 4. Also, why do they take so long? Sorry, I had to get my dogs freaking out. But in any case, this book right here is dropping. There's no signs of it stopping. And yeah, I would guess it would continue to drop. So a lot of people say they watch this show to know what to buy. If you're comfortable buying at 810, I will tell you that it will probably continue to drop. So if you do buy it at 810, thereabouts, in a couple months, it will probably sub 800 in the high sevens. And then a couple months after that, it will be around 750 and so on and so forth. I mean, just this year alone, it's dropped 34%. So if you expect maybe another 20 or so percent, in the next 6 months, something like that. So it's going to continue to drop. I'll keep an eye on it like I always do most of these books. And when I start seeing the turnaround, then maybe that's the bottom. All right, next is a sad book for me. Is a book that it was my book. I'm very upset. I did a whole video about it. But just because it's mine, I have to tell the truth and the news and what's going on. And even though it hurts, this must be. All right. So first we got here is Albedo number 2, first appearance of Usagi Yojimbo in a 9.8, one recently sold, mine, for $28,800. Back in January, a 9.8 sold for $55,200. That was down 48%. And yeah, but the previous sale of that was back in 2020, so many years ago, sold for $19,800. So that is up 45% from that one. And then before that, just barely sells at all. Yeah. So, I talked on length about this book in particular. This was actually a more special 9.8 because it belonged to the person that actually made this book, not Stan Sakai, who created Usagi, the guy who created Albedo, Steve Galacci, if I'm saying his name right. But in any case, it was his own personal copy they kept all these years. And then it was my personal copy after that. So it's really only existed in 2 hands. Now, whoever's hands it exists in now. But yes, so the $55,000 was sold on Heritage in January, and then mine on Heritage for $28,000. So in 9 months, it has dropped 50%, both selling on Heritage. Heritage did sell a 9.6 a few months ago for $33,000. So mine sold less than Heritage's $33,000 one. Oh yeah. So yeah, it is what it is. Now, what do I think the future of this book is? I don't see this book going back to 55,000. I really don't. It's crazy as I know people that had this book before I sold mine. They sold it for like 40 in a 9.8, and we had offers around 35. So I don't think it's going to hit 55 again for not a long time. 28 is too low. This book is probably around 40,000. All right. Next, we've got Samman number 1. A 9.8 recently sold for $359. In January, selling for $604. That's down 41%. Jeez. In 2023, averaged $968, down 63%. Wow. And then its peak was $1,800, down 80%. Just surprised. Such a big drop. I wouldn't expect this to have such a big drop this year. But it looks like it kind of went up for a bit and then came back down. It's kind of where it was in 2020. I'm trying to gauge this book, right? I'm trying to look at this book and I really don't know. A part of me says this will never be a sub 275 book in a 9.8. This won't. And a part of me thinks 300 could probably be the bottom. But I really don't know. I don't know. I really don't know. Part of me is around 275 to 300. That's where I think it'll stop. All right, last on the list is everyone's favorite book. No, it is not The Green Llama. That's my favorite book. The other one is The Eternals, number one. This is the number one requested book I get every single month, every single episode. 9.8. Recently sold for $300. In January, it was averaging 500. That's 40% drop. In all 2023, it was 601, down 50%, and its peak was $3,800, down 92%. Like, Jesus, like paying $3,800. Wow, this is like the perfect storm of everything that could go happen. It was a nothing book that no one cared about. They happened to be making a movie about it. Why, I don't know, and no one really cared about it. So they made a movie about it at the same time. Then it just shot right up because people thought it was rare and obscure, and oh my gosh, and not realizing that this book in particular wasn't popular when it came out. So there was actually loads and loads of this book that no one bothered to get graded. Because if you go back not too long ago, it was selling for probably, before all this MCU, comic boom, all that kind of stuff, it was probably selling for like $150 in a 9.8. So no one bothered getting it graded. Why? Because also on top of that, there wasn't that much demand for it. Just because it sold for $150, maybe $200, doesn't mean there's a lot of demand. They're just flying off the shelves. So no one bothered to get it graded. And when this first came out, no one really liked it. No one really read it. So what ended up happening is a lot of these books went back to the distributor, or they sat in dollar bins or whatever like that. And so a lot of them stayed in really, really nice shape because no one bought it, no one read it. So there's a lot of these in high grades, anywhere from 9.0s to 9.8s, unlike most other series around this time. So this was just happened to be, no one really read, so there's a lot of nice ones. So then this book, they're making a movie. It starts popping off. And then all of a sudden the comic boom happens, and it's like, bam, shoots up to $3,800. And then people were like, well, I have like 1,000 copies I can get graded. Oh, I got a couple 9.8s. Okay, boom, there we go. And then supply and demand, and also the movie sucked, and the whole market got flooded. I remember during this time, I would buy packs of these, like 1 through 4 or 1 through 12 or something like that. Just packs, all 9.4 pluses, like nonstop. Just buy them, get them graded, or just sell them raw as is constantly. There's lots of this out there. There's a lot of high grade stuff for this one. So, that is it. Like I said, head over to collectorscomics.com if you want to consign. You can consign a Eternals number 1 if you want in a 9.8. And we're only 5%. That's right, 5%. So if you consign this book, it's sold for $300, you'd only pay us $15. If you literally sold it on eBay, it would cost you 15%. So it would cost you $45. So yeah, we're about a third of the price of eBay, and we do all the work. So yeah, cheapest in the land. Have a great day.